gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. Opening statements began today in the deputy shooting trial, and the LASD uncovered stolen copper cables in South El Monte. A heat advisory looms through the weekend, with temps climbing into the 100s while traffic is moving normally despite a few lane closures. Over to you, Bennett.
The Black Crowes, joined by the Tedeschi Trucks Band and Whiskey Myers, will perform at the Hollywood Bowl next Friday, kicking off a 3-night summer series.
Tickets for the shows sold out within hours, but a limited number of standing room only passes remain available through the venue's official website until tomorrow evening.
The opening slot features rising indie folk duo Angin de Poitrine, scheduled to begin at 7:30 p.m., followed by a brief acoustic set from Matthew Hild.
The music lineup sounds amazing, and there's plenty more to explore, but first, let's get into the news and start the day together. Here are our top stories. Opening statements began Monday at the Los Angeles County Superior Court in the murder trial of Deputy Ryan Klinkenbroomer, 30, killed in a September 16, 2023 ambush. Noel Kirkpatrick has the full story.
Opening statements began Monday, August 17, 2026, in the murder trial of the man accused of ambushing Deputy Ryan Klinkenbroomer. Prosecutors outlined a motive they say was to kill a law enforcement officer, while defense counsel countered with their own narrative. The courtroom held the deputy's family, who listened as both sides presented their opening arguments. Deputy Klinkenbroomer, 30, was shot dead in an ambush in Palmdale on September 16, 2023, a killing that has now moved to trial after 3 years of investigation. The judge set a schedule for witness testimony and closing arguments in the coming weeks. The courtroom's wood paneling and solemn atmosphere underscore the gravity of the proceedings. Noel Kirkpatrick, GMNA News, Los Angeles.
Investigators with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's Major Crimes Bureau Metal Theft Detail uncovered stolen copper cables on Tuesday, August 6, after a routine inspection of a commercial property on the 2200 block of Tyler Avenue in South El Monte. The cables, which had been sold to a local business operating at that address, were seized as part of a broader crackdown on copper wire theft that has plagued the region for months. Sheriff's officials said the find confirms a pattern of organized thieves stripping utility infrastructure and moving the metal through legitimate-looking enterprises. The department will continue to work with utility companies and local businesses to track and prevent further thefts. This operation underscores the ongoing commitment of the Sheriff's Office to protect critical infrastructure and curb illegal metal trafficking.
The Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks is rolling out its first citywide basketball tournament, the LA City Hoops Challenge, set to kick off in September. The series will travel to 36 recreation centers across the city, giving players of all ages a chance to compete on familiar neighborhood courts. Officials say the program aims to boost physical activity, celebrate the game's street-level roots, and bring neighbors together at local hubs. Each venue will host a weekend of pickup-style matchups, with winners advancing to a final showdown later in the season. The department hopes the challenge will spark new friendships and keep Angelinos moving, especially as summer heat gives way to cooler autumn evenings. Registration opens next month, and teams can sign up through the park's website or at participating centers.
Deputies from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department evacuated a Magnolia Court residence in Compton early Monday morning on August 17 after a domestic violence call, now confronting a possibly armed man barricaded inside. Camila Arreola has the full story.
Deputies from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department arrived at the 100 block of Magnolia Court just after 4 a.m. Monday after a domestic violence call. They moved residents out of the 2-story home and now face a suspect who has locked himself inside, believed to be armed. Officers have set up a perimeter, deploying a tactical unit while negotiators attempt to make contact. The interior remains sealed as crews work to ensure the safety of anyone inside and the surrounding neighborhood. No injuries have been reported so far, and investigators are gathering evidence from the scene. The standoff continues as authorities maintain a cautious approach. Police say they will keep the area clear until the situation is resolved, and a spokesperson will update the public later. Camila Arriola, GMNA News, Magnolia Court.
The trial of the man prosecutors allege orchestrated the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur opened today in a Las Vegas courtroom. District Attorney Melissa Ortiz and a team of senior prosecutors presented a narrative that the fatal shooting was the product of a Compton gang rivalry that escalated into a revenge plot. The defendant, identified only as the alleged mastermind, faces multiple counts of conspiracy and murder. Prosecutors outlined evidence linking a series of coordinated messages and financial transactions to the planning of the attack. Defense attorneys argue the case rests on circumstantial proof and have moved to suppress key recordings. The courtroom, packed with media and community members, will hear testimony and forensic analysis over the coming weeks as the nation watches the long-delayed pursuit of accountability for the iconic rapper's death. Later we'll look at the Lineage Fire's toxic runoff reaching the river and its impact on our beaches. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. City officials say hazardous runoff from the Lineage wildfire is now traveling down the Los Angeles River, contaminating the waterway even as Long Beach keeps its beaches open. The fire, which burned through hillside communities last month, produced ash and chemicals that have seeped into storm drains and entered the river system. Because a regulatory gap postponed mandatory testing, authorities have been unable to assess the full extent of the contamination or issue rapid advisories. Environmental engineers warn that the unseen pollutants could pose risks to swimmers and marine life downstream, yet the Long Beach Lifeguard Bureau has not closed any shoreline. The mayor's office and the county health department are coordinating additional sampling, while state agencies review the oversight loophole that delayed the response. Residents are urged to stay informed as testing continues.
A 54-year-old jet ski rider who vanished off Long Beach was found alive after an hours-long Coast Guard search on August 17th. Camila Arriola has the full story.
Coast Guard crews launched a coordinated search early Friday after a jet skier vanished off the shoreline near the Belmont Shore Pier. The missing rider, a 54-year-old man, was spotted by a rescue helicopter circling the area about 3 hours after his jet ski was reported overdue. Responders dropped a fast rescue boat, pulled him aboard, and provided immediate medical evaluation. He was found conscious, shivering but otherwise unharmed, and was later transferred to a nearby medical facility for observation. Officials said the quick response and persistent aerial sweeps were key to locating him before conditions worsened. The search concluded without further incident, and the Coast Guard thanked the public for reporting the sighting. Camila Arriola, GMNA News, Long Beach.
2 candidates are now vying for the Los Angeles City Council seat that represents the West Valley's 3rd District. Small business owner Tim Gaspar has framed his campaign around boosting local entrepreneurship and cutting red tape for merchants along the San Fernando Valley corridor. Opponent Barry Worth-Gervin, a former public sector employee, contends that her experience in municipal operations will more effectively address the district's housing, transit, and public service needs. The contest has sharpened as both sides hold neighborhood forums and canvass residents from Van Nuys to Sherman Oaks, each promising a different path for the area's growth. Gervin's message emphasizes the value of insider knowledge of city agencies, while Gaspar stresses private sector efficiency. Voters in the 3rd District will decide later this year which vision guides the council's approach to the West Valley's ongoing challenges.
An extreme heat advisory is set to roll across Southern California beginning tomorrow and lasting through the weekend. Meteorologists say daytime highs will climb from 92 degrees to as high as 105 degrees, with humidity pushing the heat index even higher. The National Weather Service warns that the 3-day stretch could strain power grids, elevate the risk of heat-related illness, and worsen already dry conditions that fuel wildfire danger. Residents are urged to keep windows shaded, drink plenty of water, and limit outdoor activity during peak afternoon hours. Schools and municipal offices are reviewing cooling protocols, and some outdoor construction sites plan to shift shifts to cooler morning periods. Authorities will monitor the situation closely and stand ready to issue additional alerts if temperatures exceed forecasts.
CalOptima Health will allocate $4.3 million to expand its street medicine mobile program into 4 additional Orange County cities beginning August 17th. The initiative aims to increase care for unhoused residents. Wesley Tran has the full story.
CalOptima Health is allocating $4.3 million to push its street medicine vans into 4 additional Orange County cities, starting this week. The mobile clinics will roll out to neighborhoods where unhoused residents lack regular access to care, joining the existing network that already serves dozens of sites across the county. Officials say the expansion will add roughly a dozen new service stops, each staffed by nurses, physicians, and social workers who can treat wounds, manage chronic conditions, and connect people to housing resources. The funding, approved on August 17, 2026, comes as part of a broader effort to bring on-the-spot health services to those living on the streets. Wesley Tran, GMNA News, Los Angeles.
Now let's turn to the forecast and see what tonight's weather holds for you.
A westward jet and rising pressure lock in clear skies, letting today's heat linger over the basin. On this date, the all-time high reached 87 degrees in 2015, a blistering peak that arrived during a late summer heat wave that pushed daily normals well above 85. The record low fell to 53 degrees in 2025, an unusually cold night that slipped in as a rare marine layer surge after a weak cold front brushed the coast. By contrast, the climatological average high sits near 85 degrees, and the average low hovers around 64, leaving today's 86 high and 66 low comfortably within normal bounds. The live radar shows a completely quiet canvas across the basin, no rain echoes in the southwest or the valleys. With high pressure inching upward and the jet stream carving a steady westward flow, the atmosphere remains dry and stable. That means no precipitation will reach the city tonight, and skies will stay clear as we move toward tomorrow. At 6 p.m., the city basks in clear skies and a temperature of 82 degrees, humidity hovering around 51%, and a light west wind at 6 miles per hour. The near-average pressure is nudging upward, capping the lower troposphere and suppressing any cloud development. Overhead, a moderate jet stream of 36 miles per hour from the west reinforces the ridge that has settled over Southern California, funneling warm, dry air inland. As the night progresses, the temperature will dip to 66 degrees, the wind will shift southward and peak near 12 miles per hour, and the UV index remains at 11. No weather alerts are active, so the evening will remain uneventful. With the ridge persisting, the outlook rolls cleanly into tomorrow's forecast. Tuesday brings the first overcast spell of the week as a weak trough nudges the jet stream south, inviting mid-level clouds and a high near 93 degrees. Overnight lows will slip to 64, setting up a modest temperature swing. Wednesday clears dramatically. The ridge reasserts itself, delivering a crisp 95-degree high and a low of 64, perfect for late-night cooling. Thursday spikes to a scorching 99 degrees under a deepening ridge, with lows holding at 70 degrees, marking the hottest day of the stretch. Friday remains hot at 97 degrees, but the low climbs to 72, indicating a gradual warming trend. Saturday stays in the mid-90 range with lows at 72, keeping the heat persistent through the weekend. No alerts are expected, and the pattern suggests continued dry, high-pressure dominance. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates, a preview of tonight's live shows, and a look at Blake Snell's first start this season. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Northbound US 101 remains closed at the downtown ramp and the adjacent lane, a closure that began overnight and will stay in effect through the evening. Drivers heading towards Santa Monica should seek alternate routes such as the Pacific Coast Highway or surface streets like Sepulveda Boulevard. The closure adds a few minutes of delay during peak outbound traffic, especially near the Westwood area. Caltrans also announced a 55-hour closure of lanes and ramps on a busy Los Angeles County freeway, scheduled for the weekend of August 17th through 21st. While the exact route has not been released, the shutdown will affect traffic on surrounding surface streets, so commuters are advised to use local arterials and avoid the freeway entirely this afternoon. Otherwise, traffic across the city is moving normally. No accidents or incidents are reported at this time. Transit service runs on schedule with no disruptions.
The Black Crowes headline tonight's Hollywood Bowl, joined by the Tedeschi Trucks Band and Whiskey Myers, a rock celebration that reminds us why the bowl feels like a backyard concert. It's a chance to hear 3 generations of Southern rock swagger under the stars, and tickets are disappearing fast. Dine LA Restaurant Week runs now across the city, offering prix-fixe menus at dozens of local spots, so you can taste the season without breaking the bank. From East Side tacos to West Side fine dining, every neighborhood has a special dish waiting for you. At the Shrine, Chappell Roan's musical spectacular rolls on, blending drag, dancing, and surprise guests for a night that feels like a living music video. If you love bold performance art and a dance floor vibe, this is the place to be. Looking ahead, KCON will take over Los Angeles next week, a K-pop festival that turns the city into a non-stop dance floor for fans of all ages. And now here's Terrence with sports.
Dodgers and Chargers dominate headlines as the summer stretch heats up. Blake Snell takes the mound at Coors Field for the first time since '23, marking a rare return to Denver for the Dodgers ace. Facing Tom Yuki Sugano and the Rockies, Snell's outing will test his adaptation to altitude and could shape the rotation heading into the stretch run. The Dodgers have run a late-season dress rehearsal, sweeping a struggling opponent in a series that barely qualified as competition. Those wins give the club a glimpse of postseason rhythm, but the thin opposition leaves questions about how the lineup will perform when the stakes rise. Chargers practice opened with cornerback Tarheeb still back in limited action after a week off, while left tackle Rashawn Slater missed his 7th consecutive session. Still's return adds depth to the secondary, but Slater's ongoing absence forces the O-line to lean on backups as the preseason intensifies. Los Angeles posted a winning week on paper, yet the offense sputtered, managing just 6 runs while the lineup has struggled for nearly 2 months. The lack of firepower threatens to stall the Dodgers' climb, putting pressure on the bench to spark production before the playoff push. Jackson Ferris earned Player of the Day honors in Oklahoma City after delivering a dominant outing against the Padres during spring training. After a rough 2025, his strong start signals a potential rise up the Dodgers' pitching depth chart as the organization eyes a refreshed rotation. Rashawn Slater has now missed 6 straight Chargers practices, turning an initial veteran rest day into a prolonged absence. The continued gap forces the coaching staff to evaluate backup options on the left side, a scenario that could reshape the O-line's protection schemes as the regular season looms. Stay tuned as the race to playoffs intensifies across LA.
Thanks, Terrence. 70 small businesses across Los Angeles County, from the murals of Echo Park to the cafes of East Los Angeles, just received a boost from the county's Entrepreneurship Academy grants. The Department of Economic Opportunity, through the Small Business Mobility Fund, is handing out $140,000 in grant money, giving each entrepreneur $2,000 to launch or expand their venture. From a new taco truck in Highland Park to a community art studio in Boyle Heights, the funds are sparking fresh jobs and keeping neighborhood character alive. It's a reminder that when local founders thrive, the whole city feels that energy. That's why supporting these entrepreneurs matters to every corner of Los Angeles. Next, we'll discuss a 90% chance of a strong El Niño and the heartbreaking Victorville teen crash. We'll be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. NOAA's Climate Prediction Center now sees a 90% chance of a very strong El Niño developing across the United States this year, up from 81% a month ago. Wesley Tran has the full story.
NOAA's Climate Prediction Center just raised its outlook, saying the nation faces a very strong El Niño this year with 90% confidence. That marks an increase from 81% just a month ago. The monthly outlook, released today, projects the oceanic warming pattern to intensify through the winter, a scenario that typically reshapes temperature and precipitation patterns across the United States. Forecasters note the heightened likelihood could bring wetter conditions to the Pacific Northwest, drier air to the Southwest, and a shift in storm tracks nationwide. The agency will continue to update the forecast as the season progresses, monitoring sea surface temperatures and atmospheric signals for any changes. Wesley Tran, GMNA News, Los Angeles.
2 teenagers were killed Friday night in a 3-vehicle hit and run on Ridgecrest Road near Elmwood Drive, around 8:30 p.m., according to the California Highway Patrol. Noel Kirkpatrick has the full story.
At about 8:30 p.m. Friday night, a 3-car collision on Ridgecrest Road near Elmwood Drive turned fatal. A green Acura TL pulled out left in front of a yellow Chevrolet Camaro and a black Dodge Charger, both racing north at high speed. The impact sent the Camaro and the Charger careening into the Acura, and the drivers fled the scene. First responders later recovered 2 teenage occupants of the Acura, both pronounced dead at the scene. California Highway Patrol officers have opened a hit-and-run investigation, canvassing the area for witnesses and reviewing dash cam footage. The department urges anyone with information to contact investigators today. Noel Kirkpatrick, GMNA News, Victorville.
Thank you, Los Angeles, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight's look at the lineage fire's toxic runoff reaching the LA River reminded us how quickly nature can impact our city. We appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow. Stay safe and see you then.